Recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I yield myself such time as I may consume.
Gentleman is recognized.
Madam Speaker, introduced in July of 2022, H.R. 8393, the Puerto Rico Status Act, would authorize a federally sponsored plebiscite to occur on November 5th, 2023, and it would dictate to the voters of Puerto Rico three and only three choices: independence, sovereignty and free association, or statehood. If no one option receives a majority vote, there will be a runoff on March 3rd, 2024. I cannot support this measure because of process concerns and wide-ranging policy changes that involve the jurisdiction of the Natural Resources Committee, along with several other House committees that haven't even seen this bill. The Committee on Natural Resources has not held a hearing on this bill, nor have the other committees with the expertise on complex issues of U.S. citizenship, taxation and entitlement programs, foreign policy, and many other matters. None of them have been given an opportunity to openly consider, debate, and amend this bill. The question of Puerto Rico's political status is a life-altering decision for the people of Puerto Rico. Just as we would expect the people of Puerto Rico to deliberate its questions, understand its consequences, and accept responsibility for the choice, so should Congress. These issues are far too important for this body to act without proper deliberation. Because of the hasty and secretive process that was used to develop this bill, it contains many concerning and unresolved issues. The bill contradicts itself, offering Puerto Rico the promise of independence while prescribing actions actions that should be taken by the newly sovereign nation. How can you be independent yet have another nation dictate what your actions would be? It promises the trappings of U.S. citizenship without the responsibilities of being part of the United States. It is unfortunate that we are here considering this legislation on the House floor after the majority has held backroom negotiations instead of open, transparent hearings and markups. A regular and open legislative process would have allowed members of this body and the people of Puerto Rico, more than 3 million United States citizens, to fully assess what this bill proposes and what it means for this and future generations. In fact, the majority made changes to the bill that had even less consideration than the version ordered to be reported by the Committee on Natural Resources in July, cutting backroom deals as recently as this week. We learned this bill would be on the floor even before we had the text of the Rules Committee. We didn't even know what we would be debating when we learned this bill would be on the floor. Madam Speaker, there's a favorite Latin expression of mine. It's lux et veritas. It means light and truth. This body and this Congress, this federal government could use a lot more light and truth. You see, without light, when you're in the darkness, you don't know what truth is. And if you don't know what truth is, then you make bad policy decisions. And unfortunately, the lack of transparency seems to be the par course in Congress anymore. This bill should have been debated. It should have had light shown on it. This is it's bad policy. I don't see anybody could read this bill and think that there are not problems with it, that there's not a lack of logic, there's incoherency in the text of the bill, and it's taking us to a position where we would make bad decisions. And here we are, just a week after this chamber was left guessing what would be in the final NDAA. And while we're currently guessing what will be in a last-minute omnibus spending bill that will no doubt be rolled out in the dark of night. This is another example is what is so broken about this process, what's so broken about the way this majority has led. If this majority were interested in helping Puerto Rico, we will be advancing legislation to address the reliability of the island's energy grid, ensure its fiscal solvency, repair its infrastructure, or meet any of the other tangible needs for the people of Puerto Rico. We should be treating these U.S. citizens with respect and letting a full and robust legislative process in the light of day take place to address the status question and the many implications for the people of Puerto Rico and for all Americans. I urge a no vote on H.R. 8393, and I reserve the balance of my time.